since we were going to be watching a video, Addict, thank you so much for the 15 stream streak. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, bro. Here's the video link. Please go give this a like. Go, you know, if you have a comment you want to say, you can say it. I don't know. Just make sure to give the video a like, because we're going to be watching it on stream. And, you know, we're not here to steal content. Anyways, though, let's check this out. Oh, it's 24 minutes long. Oh, fuck.
Controversy in DBD history,
that's fine. We'll just end with relaxing to this.
Design related, or with their state of release. This is going to largely be based on how much of an uproar and discussion they've caused over the years. Let's get into it.
This feels like
go with one of his very early states in the game where he was able to place traps directly under hooks.
So, wait, we're already starting this. We're already starting this on shitting on Trapper when Trapper is like one of the most mid killers that actually requires like some kind of skill. What? Back in the day, though. Back in the day, it might have been a different story. Being able to place traps on a hook. This, by the way, is killer hate propaganda. I'm just saying that now. Just like unsub block reported to PETA. Don't do that. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. No. You do, if you report it to PETA, it's gonna do. Actually, PETA might just do more harm to themselves at this point. I don't know. They do more harm than good.
This was way back upon the launch of the game in 2016, where there were many things to be ironed out. This was a huge one though, as it allowed you to camp to an even greater extent, due to being able to literally block hook saves entirely, and even self-unhooks, as they'd be met with an instant trap clamping onto them.
So survivors really never like... I mean, I can't blame them. When you're being camped out, it can be really annoying.
Wraith has not had many.
But if your other teammates are doing stuff, doesn't... If you're being camped out, doesn't... If you're being camped out, doesn't that mean like your team should be like, okay, we're going to focus on getting all the other gens done and they could just gen rush it? Because while the one killer's camping you, you just wait out the time? Isn't that what you should do? And then that kind of makes like the camping thing like kind of pointless. You got DBD back in 2018. Oh, I see. I was early. I was an early adopter, just not an early player.
But one notable one was the removal of the light burn mechanic.
See, I got it because I had a friend who got it, and I was like, oh, dude, we could play together. And I then found out we can't really play together because I wanted to be the killer. A few months after IDV released. Oh, okay.
A mechanic for Wraith where you could shine a flashlight onto his body whilst he was cloaked and burn him out of his power. This was removed in April of 2023 and was decently controversial due to it being a unique and well-loved mechanic.
Yeah, well-loved if you're a fucking privileged survivor. Fuck off.
With many feeling its removal removed an interesting interaction from the game.
I don't think it's interesting for the fucking Wraith player if you just fucking flash burn them as they're trying to catch you. They have a slowdown from doing the bing bong to get out. Get the fuck out of here.
Billy had the huge controversy that was the overheat rework in patch 4.1.0. This patch introduced a new restrictive mechanic for Billy's chainsaw, where
I should like name this video like newbie wannabe killer main hates on survivor privilege, aka hates on the perspective of a survivor player. If I make this a video, maybe that's what I'd name it. Or I may name it something like wannabe newbie killer main reacts to some, I don't know. I had a video named title and I lost it.
It would overheat, leading it to be unusable. This was largely hated, but also defended in many cases as a necessary nerf to Billy's overpowered kit at the time. The main issue people had was due to the removal of many techs, such as feathering, where the new version of the power was restrictive and unrewarding. This was pushed through by the devs despite the backlash, with the community eventually feeling validated with the reverse of the mechanic and introduction of overdrive in its place in 2024. Nurse has always been a controversial character from day one, as she offers a completely new spin on DBD gameplay.
Also, I can say Nurse, to my understanding, has always been a top tier killer. Like, I can't even complain. I can't even like be like say anything when if someone complains about like a nurse, because I mean it makes sense. A nurse player, like it's not like it's easy, right? Like to get the teleports down, but it's not also super hard. Like generally nurses are frustrating to play against, and man, especially if it's a decent nurse, a decent to good nurse, man, you're gonna have a hell of a game. Nurse has always been like a really great character. Didn't DBD add 8v2 lobbies? They did, but they're not they weren't permanent. Like they added 8v2, but it's not a permanent thing, and it's not up anymore. You can't play it. Newbie DBD player dunks on outdated DBD mechanics. On maybe the take. This was 3 months ago. Wow, I thought this was going to be a lot older. Okay, then. Yeah, I kind of wish they kept the game mode. You also couldn't play every killer in the game, in that game mode either, so that was also kind of buns.
That also subsequently destroys the game's entire ecosystem with its existence. Nurse being able to blink through floors and walls breaks most of the mechanics of the game, and yet she's remained unnerfed to a substantial degree for nearly 9 years of the game.
Let's go Nurse. Avoiding them nerfs.
Been viewed controversially. I'd debate this is the most controversial thing that's happened to her. She's never been nerfed out of that top slot.
DBD loves Nurse, that's why.
Regardless of the climate of the game. Ask literally any player from any point in DBD history and they'll probably have an issue with Nurse. She's always been overpowered.
She's just really strong. Like her ability is just so strong. It's honestly kind of hard to nerf, I feel. Like you could probably lower how far she goes or how many times she can dash or something like that. But I wonder if she's in that state where even if you take that away, like if you do that, does that then just make her utterly really bad in the game? Like if you do this, if you nerfed her, does it almost make her unplayable? Like is she in that kind of state almost? That's fair, though, because some of them summon stuff or add new game mechanics that changes the map. They did the same for IDV, where you can't use Photographer in 8v2. Man, that's fucking lame. Could you imagine if, like, that's who I play, and, oh, shit, now I can't do it. So now, well, I don't know if IDV has the same problem, where... So when I played Survivor, I just played a couple of games of Survivor with some friends. I had no blood points to level up my fucking Survivor. So my Survivor had one fucking perk. I mean, generally after one game, you could level them up to, I think the point you could at least get like 3. But like generally in like something like DBD, it is not new player friendly because you have so many characters that you need to level up just to be able to use 4 perks, and then if your character you're wanting to play, like me who wants to play Kaneki, has fucking garbage to dog shit perks that don't really work too well, and you want the good perks that are going to help you out a lot better in the game, you have to level up other characters, and that just makes it seem very strange. Like you gotta level up your main that you want to kind of play. Like, I want to play Kaneki, so I gotta level up Kaneki up to the point of having 4 perks. Then, afterwards, you have to level up other characters to get their perks that are good for your character. Or just in general good perks. It is a game you really are going to need to put time to grind out just to be able to play the characters you like at a pretty good level. A lot of it does come down to your game skill, but like in general, perks in the game, because they kind of work around the perks, generally like you have the game mechanics you need to do, but the general perks are kind of the fundamental part of the game, right? Like they're like the main kind of focus-ish kind of thing, because they're like what help you out throughout your matches. So them being such a high focus and you needing to grind out a lot, kind of makes like just like a weird dynamic, I feel. Again, I'm leveling up Clown because I want Clown's perks, but I don't play Clown. I play Kaneki. I don't know how you fix that really, but like maybe just make it to where if you just get them to level 50, you get their perks instead of having to prestige them to get the perks for other characters. I don't know, but then I feel like that takes something. I feel like it takes away the longevity part of it. I don't know. Either way, my point is that in a game like DBD, where you have these perks that are generally helpful and are kind of a fundamental part of the game, if you can't get them, it makes it difficult. And in a game like the 2v8, if you can't have your character that you play, you don't know another one's skills. I mean, generally, people will say, well, that's your fault. Play other characters. What if you don't fucking want to? Right? Then I guess you just can't play the game mode. But in general, if a killer you play and you have perks specifically picked and earned to help with that killer in particular, and you don't know if they, like, how they will generally could work for another killer, I don't know. I think it just makes it a lot trickier when it comes to DBD compared to IDV. Or IDV. The points are shared by all characters. Yeah, you can share all the blood points in DBD as well. They're all shared, so you can still put them in to anything. The only one you level up is the personas themselves. You only level up your hunter and survivor persona. They should have done the same thing for two. Wait, I'm confused. What do you mean by that? The only one you level up is the personas themselves. You only level up your hunter and survivor persona. Because it kind of sounds similar to DBD in a way. By shared, I mean you will have the same points if you switch characters. Oh yeah, DBD does the same thing. Like, I'm playing Kaneki, I'm earning the points. I switch over to Clown to put the points in the Clown in order to get his perks. And then I switch back to Kaneki because I play Kaneki. I don't play Clown. And if IDV has perks as well, then it has like that same kind of thing. I'm not saying to take out perks. I'm saying, I guess I'm just pointing out the fact that for DBD, it is not new player friendly with the way the perk system kind of works.
Anyone has ever been around the character has been the recent 2025 rework to the character, 9 years on from his release. This has been met with a range of reactions from love to hate from the community, with it changing Mykah's kit in quite a considerable and debatably controversial way. The main controversial aspect being that his gameplay shifted away from his original lore-accurate feeling and signature playstyle. Hag has had quite a controversial...
Yeah, but wait, hold up. I'm going to rewind it because I didn't fully take in what was being said there. I was still thinking.
Divided anyone has ever been around the character has been the recent 2025 rework to the character, 9 years on from his release. This has been met with a range of reactions from love to hate from the community, with it changing Mykah's kit in quite a considerable and debatably controversial way. The main controversial aspect being that his gameplay shifted away from his original lore-accurate feeling and signature playstyle.
I guess, did they change it? I'm going to assume they changed it to where he doesn't do as much of the stalking thing he used to do. Which, then again, like, wasn't that like an issue though with him? Because it was like, he just has like the one playstyle outside of like Tombstone Miners. Like, he kind of was like a one-trick pony kind of character before, and people generally were like, they didn't find it interesting. Like, it left him in like a spot of being like, he's not really that great. I think. I could be wrong. But I kind of remember that in a way. They gave him asthma. No, not the asthma.
Hag has had quite a controversial past, with her being viewed as quite an extreme camper.
I can say, though, for us Myers, is like, when it comes to this isn't lore accurate to the character, I do kind of agree in a way. To the fact that I like it when things are lore accurate. I mean, I think I mentioned this when I was playing earlier. I don't like well, I didn't say I didn't like. But like technically by the lore standards, Kaneki coming to the game, he should have been wearing the black and white outfit, but they put his default outfit with the mask and the entire black outfit, which from the time point that he goes into DBD, he is not wearing. He is wearing the black and white because he gets pulled in after he fights and kills Jason. So that's a continuity thing, and I find it weird that they made that an alternative skin and not the one with his mask. Also, DVD, please let us be able to put Kaneki's mask with his other outfit. I understand you can't do that with Rize because that's weird, but please let us do that with his other outfit. Let us put the mask with the black and white the black shirt and the white pants. At least let us do that. Come on. There's literally a scene in season 2 where he fucking has that on. Please. Used to be faster, I think. Michael Myers used to be fast? Maybe. I don't know.
And one of the worst for a period of time, with many hags originally playing her by spamming traps around a hook or the basement. This has shifted greatly with time, however, with her traps now being scratchable, with this only happening, to be fair, because of the really bad camping situation. I'd say her days of camping, though, are simply her greatest controversy. She used to be a truly hated character and actually played a decent amount, I'd say. Nowadays, she's completely forgotten. It's either this or her awful launch state where she...
See, and that's what I feel like Nurse is in. I feel like Nurse is in a similar state to that. If you do something to fuck with the teleport, you're gonna have a... Oh, shit!
Desu just arrived with 5 viewers to the realms between.
Desu, thank you so much for the raid. Thank you. How was your stream? How did it go? I saw you were just chatting, playing some games, just chilling. I stopped in and it looked like you were playing like... I'm not sure. I saw like characters walking up to your screen. I'm like, I don't know what's actually going on here. But how's your stream? How was your stream? How was your stream? How'd it go? Hags playing hags. Gotta be hag maxing out here, man. That's how you hag max. Goodbye tiring. I enjoyed the game over Marvel. Wait, did you play Marvel? Or are you saying just in general? Yeah, we were just playing some DBD, and now we're chilling out real quick before I end stream by watching in this video called Every Killer's Greatest Controversy in Dead by Daylight. And we're right now on the Hag. It was cooking craze? Oh shit, if you're cooking up in the kitchen, that's gonna be crazy. Because working in a kitchen is crazy, like in general. Welcome to the realms between these. I mean, welcome. I played Marvel and I got pissed after 5 games. Oh shit, what happened? What pissed you off? Was it Spider-Man? Because fuck Spider-Man. Something I will say, so what we were kind of talking a little bit about. I'm always a crazy cook if you want to play. Oh shit, yo, wait. Free food? I will fucking take free food. Fuck yeah. Hook me up, hook me up. I was not getting no heals like I was supposed to. Oh, okay. Why am I choking all of a sudden? I think my throat's just dry. There we go. I got a little bit of water. Yeah, it does. It is very frustrating when you don't get them heals. See, that's why you need me as a healer in the game. I'll give you the heals. I give the heals. Until I'm not playing healer, then you ain't getting no fucking heals. I don't know what to tell you. I have to do my Rivals dailies for the costume. Wait, are you about to hop on Rivals right now? Get some more water. I got a big jug of water right here. I just don't drink it when I'm playing games. Because I don't think about it. I had pity games against bots. Wait, like you did, wait, are you saying like you went to go fight against bots like you chose to, or did the game do that? Because if the game did, I'm like, damn. If you chose to, it's like, that's fine. Damn, bro's getting on Marvel Rivals right now. Motherfucker could have done that any point today. To answer your question, yes, it fucking did. I was gonna say, yo, let me join, but I can't join now. Mostly because I'm doing a reaction video, in a way. The game is quick play. Oh, okay. I was drawing. Man, okay, that's fair. Fair point. Okay, so something I was gonna say when I was talking about Hag, it mentioned about her camping, and now look. I say the joke. Survivor privilege. It's half a joke, half reality. This is fucking annoying. I can tell you, I can remember hearing this being fucking annoying. When I would watch YouTube videos of people playing this shit all the time, because again, I didn't play a lot, killer anxiety. And the couple times I did play a Survivor, Hag was fucking annoying whenever I'd see it in a video, because it'd be like, yeah, you just would basically set a trap and teleport to it. Like, she was the ultimate camper. It made her annoying because she could teleport to it. She could teleport to where the camping is happening. But then again, like I said, they changed it that you can scratch it, and then
played a decent amount, I'd say.
And then this is what you get.
Completely forgotten.
You get this shit. You get this shit. Generally now, I think if I were to make an assumption, and I'm just from looking at this, Hag is a killer that's like a spicy pick. Like, you pick this character in the idea that people aren't going to be thinking about how do you fight against this killer. It's going to be like wait, shit, Hag? Oh, fuck, guys, what do we do? Fuck. Or you have, like, the one Hag we played against that had, like, those perks that kept her so silent. She was a really good Hag. I mean, she killed all of us, I think. Either she killed all of us or Cafe escaped. I can't remember how that fully went. We'll finish your reaction, then drop a few games. I will. We'll do that. I might play DBD again and give away free wins like I do in IDV. I mean, she is spicy. See them hips? What, girl? What hips? Hold up. Hold the fuck up. What hips? What hips do you see on this? Desu, I really need you. I need you to convince me. Where are the fucking hips? Where are the hips? I don't see them. Where are the bones? Oh, we're talking about hip bones. We're talking about hip bones. We're talking about little like little click clacks, little, like, she walks and it sounds like a fucking like a Jenga tower just going. Sounds like Lincoln Logs over there. Literal skeleton. Wait, hold up. You want to know what it sounds like when she be coming at you? This is what you hear whenever she starts walking towards you. Here, let me even give you an even better representation. Are you ready for this? Here, enjoy this. Hold up.
What's that? What's that, brother?
We got hit with some brother. Okay, you ready? Ready? Here it is. Visual representation of what happens. Oh, this video is gonna be fucking an hour long. Lets you know she's coming your way. You know what? I guess that's fair. I don't know if she should be doing that. But to rearrange them. Oh god. Girl needs some what is it? Like the one we had in our game where she was so silent, couldn't hear that shit coming. Advil? Some lotion? Something that helps the bones. She needs some milk. That hag we played against had some milk. Wind chimes sounding hips.
Was terrible. Doctor has been a decently controversial character over the years, with him needing a number of reworks. I think his most controversial point in time though was his rather broken state after his rework in 1.6.2, where he was able to utilize healing perks within his kit to stop survivors from snapping out of.
Okay, I gotta rewind it.
There has been a decently controversial character over the years, with him needing a number of reworks. I think his most controversial point in time though was his rather broken state after his rework in 1.6.2, where he was able to utilize healing perks within his kit to stop survivors from snapping out of madness.
Wait. He could use healing perks? Wait, what?
He could use healing perks such as a nurse's cooling to see survivors snapping out of it, and even use chlorophobia to make the skill checks even harder. This was a really controversial state for Doctor at the time, with it later being removed in 2.4.0. The most heat the character has ever received.
Oh no. We as a survivor are gonna get called out when we try to remove madness? Oh, we can't fucking stand that. Nah, dude, that's not fair for us. Us and our 4 squad survive with friends, 20 fucking flashbangs, 3 fucking flashlights. Nah, I can't have that now. Oh no.
Huntress has had some periods of greater strength and moments of controversy, but none that I'd really say stuck or lasted very long. She's generally viewed as a pretty fun and fair character overall.
Good.
The most controversial
Good.
or broken periods she had were her days of
Huntress is one of the most, like...
insta-down hatchets, or when she was buffed to have 7 at base. These were hardly big controversies though, debatably, but those are the most notable.
I mean, that is kind of a lot. 7 is kind of a lot. However, it takes skill to hit those hatchets. Huntress deserves to be in like she's a good character when you can play her well, and we're not gonna bitch about its state.
Well, I think when she was able to run 5 insta-down hatchets, that was probably her biggest controversy.
I can hear it, but it's alright. Wait, you can't hear this? Is it too quiet?
There was quite a lot of community chatter about it at the time, and it was often justified because survivors had the insta-heals, so a Huntress being able to run 5 insta-downs was seen as fair, or at least balanced, I suppose.
No,
Bubba
it's
had a
fair.
recently large controversy surrounding his alleged removal in early 2023. It was leaked in January 2023 that Bubba would be getting removed from the game, not too dissimilarly to Stranger Things. It was presumed to be down to the upcoming release of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. This led to a huge uproar in the community and an official, almost jokey dev response that he wasn't going anywhere.
So the biggest controversy was him not having a controversy? Wait,
This
what?
was absolutely huge and spread throughout the community like wildfire. Despite it, I think, just being a rumor ultimately, or maybe a possibility that just didn't ever end up quite happening. Bubba was saved.
I think then, if I'm to understand, so first off, Bubba, I guess, is so appreciated that he has no controversy that's an actual controversy. That's kind of funny. But I think the other thing is, first off, a fucking game journalists, or whoever, fucking starting this shit when there's no proof. It's a fucking rumor. State it as a rumor. Where was it? Let me go back. Let me see. What did this say? DVD leaks. Okay, that's what it says. Yeah, this fucking page here, this person, fucking putting this shit out there with no proof. You could at least say potentially disappearing because of this reason, right? But not confirmed. Game journalists do this shit a lot, where they'll just report on something that doesn't have a whole lot of backing. And they'll just go off, well, this is how I feel about it, or whatever. But in general for this, it's like, there's not really a controversy behind him. He just got a weird rumor spread, and then they were like, no, he's not. Why did Stranger Things even get removed? I don't understand that one. Because it did come back, right? Like, you can buy Stranger Things again now, I think. And there's even going to be a new Stranger Things for DVD, so I don't understand why it was taken out to begin with.
Moved from the not too dissimilarly to Stranger Things. It was presumed to be down to the upcoming release. An official, almost jokey dev the community like wildfire.
Gotta love when your controversy isn't even a real controversy.
Maybe a possibility that just
nothing wrong with the killer, just some weird rumor that got spread.
Saved. Freddy has always been a controversial character, and partly down to which Freddy it is we have in-game. The 2010 remake version of the character, and the lesser popular of the two versions. Freddy has always been controversial though, due to his power as well over the years, which has changed multiple times and always been a bit controversial in some way. Whether it be that the power is laughably weak, way too boring and overpowered, or weak and incredibly boring. It's always sort of had a problem. So Freddy's been controversial because people view him as the wrong Freddy in many ways, his lack of cosmetics, and some of his worst states such as Forever Freddy. So
well, when it comes down to licensed killers, it probably makes it hard. I mean, Michael's only had two skins, his default and the hospital gown. That's it. So yeah, his lack of cosmetics, and yeah, it's the Freddy that they decided to be like, yep, he's a confirmed child attacker in multiple different ways. Not good. They were like, we're gonna make this a confirmed thing for this character. It was something that was kind of hinted at, but never fully like, it's true. Like, if you watch the original Nightmare on Elm Street, they say he was like a child murderer, right? And it's like, okay, child murderer, or he, like, you know, tortured kids or killed them, things like that, right? For the movie. But then for the remake, they were like, we're gonna make him a child attacker. We're gonna make him a predator. I don't know why they wanted to do that, but I don't like that personally. Because now it makes it to where it's like, it feels like now Nightmare on Elm Street has this disgusting stain on it that I don't like. It's part of the reason I don't really want to play him as a killer in this game. Like that. I would still play him, maybe, but, like, not really like, man, I want to play Freddy. Also, his powers always were, like, they were always very strange, to where it was, like, he wasn't really a great killer like that. He was always just kind of, like, a weird niche kind of pick you would do. My throat is really fucking dying for some reason. There we go. Got some water. Anyways, yeah, Freddy's kind of a weird thing in this game.
Just pick anything, really. Pig's greatest controversy.
It's kind of like, why would I pick Freddy, who either has a really strange, not really fun gimmick, when I could play literally any other character that is so much more fun to play?
The persistent nerf Pig joke and the constant nerfs from the devs for a period of time is likely around a particular build she had. This build utilized the iridescent add-on Videotape, which forces all survivors to start the trial with traps on their heads. Due to the way Pig's traps originally worked, she could stand in front of one of her jigsaw boxes, and it would mean one of the survivors would be forcibly killed by their trap, as they'd be unable to retrieve the key due to Pig blocking it.
Okay, that is kind of scummy. That is kind of scummy. I can give that. I can give that. Because could you do it? One of the survivors. It's like I'm gonna make sure I guarantee a kill. They have to play the game first, put a trap on someone's head, and then they stand. Well, no, they have to play, because would Pig know? Wait, would Pig know which box it is? Because what if they stand in front of the wrong box? Then I guess they just go back out and hunt. But, like, I feel like you waste so much more time doing that. I guess what you would do is you would go and place trap, like what this Pig has done. You go and place a trap on everyone's head, and then you stand in front of one of the boxes, Yeah, okay, that's how you would do it. I guess I'm looking at it from my perspective of my skill, and my skill of being like, would I be able to get every survivor with the pig trap on and be able to stand in front of a box then and do it? If you're good, you probably could. Or maybe even decent to good. Maybe it wasn't that hard. Maybe it's not that hard to do, and I'm overthinking it. Maybe I make it harder than it is. Either way, I still think that's a pretty scummy thing to fucking do. But hey, we all have our things. This is one that I'm like, don't approve of that, because that to me is just kind of scummy. But it's an online game. People are going to be scummy at times.
Forcibly killed by their
So
trap.
I can't even blame this one. If I was a survivor, I would be kind of annoyed by that too.
This was what led to the complete rework of Pig's traps and their mechanics, and so I'd say this was a pretty significant controversy.
I wish he would explain how they reworked it, just because now I want to know how did they rework it to where that doesn't happen anymore.
In regards to Pig, at least. Clown has always been a decently controversial and divisive character due to his power. His bottles and their application of slowdown and distortion have caused a lot of discussion over the years, and are either seen as quite weak or wildly overpowered depending on who you ask. I'd say this actually came to a head notably fairly recently with his 2025 changes. As all the changes before this people have been pretty on board with, but in 2025, his yellow bottles were buffed considerably, leading to heated debate over whether this was helpful or made him ridiculously overpowered with his newfound speed. He's always kind of been a somewhat hated character, but I think this has been a period of people really disliking him. But there also being another side of people who are really finding joy in him with this new speed playstyle.
I think, if I were to make an assumption, they buffed the yellow bottle because they found it wasn't being used as much, so it's kind of was like a useless thing. So they buffed it to make it more useful, and it made people want to play Clown more because it gave you more versatility to him as a killer for how you could play him, and you could get more enjoyment out of it. And it might have even buffed his win rates to then buffing his pick rates. Now, as long as it doesn't skyrocket like crazy to where this motherfucker becomes like he is the pick, I think it's fine. You know, if a killer's like, you know, kind of lacking and you want to bring him up a bit, I think that's kind of fine. But it also depends on how much it's doing. And I feel like if I go back and listen to how does he say this? Like he says, people
made him ridiculously overpowered with his newfound speed. He's always kind of been...
Now they say ridiculously overpowered. Is he just suddenly climbing ranks? Is it like Clown the pick? Or is it just like a, oh, well, you know, we could play Clown because he's actually now viable. And it makes it, not that he wasn't viable, but like it makes him better. You know what I mean? Like, not saying he wasn't viable before, but it's like, oh yeah, actually I would play Clown. The yellow bottle buff has been great. Yeah, it makes me want to play him more. Kind of thing.
Been a somewhat hated character, but I think this...
Yeah, there it is. When he says like he's always been a somewhat hated character, I feel like some of it comes from his design. Because one, generally there's like that people don't like clowns. And two, he's kind of gross. Right? Like he has like a really kind of big gross factor about him. So people also look at that and be like, oh, I don't really want to play that. I don't really like that. Like, he kind of has that like a look where he's like, he's smelly, stinky, nasty looking. Although he does have the coolest knife trick in the world. Or not the coolest knife trick in the world. But in this game, whenever you get a knife hit, I mean, watch this shit. Watch this shit.
He's always kind of been a somewhat hated character, but I think this is
bam!
A period of...
Look at that. That little flip of the knife. Man, that's what it is. He's fat like the guy from MGS2 Metal Gear Solid 2.
There also being another side of people who are really finding joy in him with this new speed playstyle. Spirit has been a hugely controversial killer over the years due to being on the stronger end of killers through the years as well, and doing so whilst having very little counterplay. Her peak of controversy was just after her release in 2018, up until probably about 2021, where she was considered the second best killer for a long time, and debated even as the best due to her range of OP add-ons, having a power without any counterplay, pretty much, with her core mind game being to stand still. I'd argue this entire no counterplay time period was her most notable controversy.
Oh, I get it. Because when she disappears, does her body still stay there? So it makes you think that she disappeared. Oh, I can get it. Okay, but that's a mind game, bro. That's a mind game. If you, because she can't see you, okay? Like, let me give you a little hot take here. If I was this, man, I'm not a good player though, so like I don't play Survivor, so maybe I just sound like an idiot. Fuck it. If I do, I do. I don't care. This Claudette has two other options she could take, and she decides, well, I'm gonna go forward. It's not like Spirit can still see you while she's invisible, while she's in the other form. She can, I think, hear you, right? But she can't see you in the other form. She is generally a strong killer. I'm not going to say like, oh no, the ranking is wrong. She's not top 2. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying this is a mind game. She has a mind game. And you get caught by the mind game. Guess what? You got caught. I don't know what to tell you. But saying that there's generally no counterplay to it, I think that is kind of also fair to be like, there was no there's not really a strong counterplay to that. You know, you just kind of either get caught or you don't get caught. You have to take a chance. It's a 50-50. She could blind her if she had a flashlight. She could stun her if she had a stun fucking bomb. And there's a lot of counters, well, nowadays. There's a lot of things that a survivor can have to counter a spirit. But I'm also thinking on nowadays. It might not have been like that when this is being talked about. This is a video from 3 months ago, but the thing he's talking about could be from like years ago. I'm just saying in general, I don't see an issue on that. It doesn't have an exact counterplay, but the counterplay is you have to make a choice. Either do you trust that that's the spirit in front of you, or do you take a chance in walking another direction or going to hide and being like, okay, that wasn't. She turns around, tries to walk out that door back there. She tries to walk out the door back here. The spirit then either has to go around and do a chase game again or break this pallet. She chose to go forward thinking that she did disappear, and it was the wrong call. That happens.
I'd argue this entire no counterplay time period was her most notable controversy. This whole state of her was awful. One of the most unfair, uncounterable characters the game has ever seen. Maybe the most, debatably. Legion have the obvious
I'll give it to him for kindness. But in general, all I'm hearing, my salty side is gonna say all I'm hearing is survivor bitchy privilege. Anyways,
of their launch state, or just after their launch state.
I know I'm being toxic. I'm doing it purposely.
Problematic due to the way some chose to play them, and what was commonly met with a DC. This version of Legion allowed them to apply Deep Wound, regressing it progressively with the add-ons of Frank's Mixtape and Stab Wound Study, and then chase backwards, allowing them to regress the bleed timer out while still technically chasing you, leading to impossible to escape chases. Plague has always been build tech.
Can you repeat that for me again? Okay, what was the issue on this?
Have the obvious controversy of their launch state, or just after their launch state, in which they were viewed as incredibly problematic due to the way some chose to play them, and what was commonly met with a DC. This version of Legion allowed them to apply Deep Wound, regressing it progressively with the add-ons of Frank's Mixtape and Stab Wound Study, and then chase backwards, allowing them to regress the bleed timer out while still technically chasing you, leading to impossible to escape chases. Plague has always been a...
Okay, so it wasn't even like everybody was doing this, but it was a play style you could do with this character. Character had a play style, and people didn't like it. Survivors bitched about it. Got it.
Little controversial, and mainly down to her power, which acts very uniquely. She disallows the use of healing perks, essentially, by causing all infected survivors to become broken. This is an effect I've personally never been much of a fan of, and I know this sentiment is definitely shared. I'd argue this is the core of her greatest controversy over the years, is how divisive her power has consistently been, still to this day. The fact she denies or negates the whole aspect of the healing mechanic is still pretty controversial, I'd say. Ghostface had a fairly This is the core of her greatest fan of, acts very uniquely. She disallows the use of healing perks essentially, by causing all infected survivors to become broken. This is an effect I've personally never been much of a fan of, and I know this sentiment is definitely shared. I'd argue this is the core of her greatest controversy over the years.
But that's kind of what makes her unique.
Consistently been, still to this day. The fact she denies or negates the whole aspect of the healing mechanic is still pretty controversial, I'd say.
Yeah, but she's the only one that can do that, and it's because that's kind of a special perk and power that she has. It gives her a unique thing. It creates a new frustration for a survivor player, and survivors don't like having to deal with fucking anything. I'm being toxic, I know this.
Ghostface had a fairly large controversy around his release, but also his release date itself. The core of this was that he got leaked in his entirety, leading to...
I also don't care. Survivor privilege.
Controversial, I'd say. Ghostface had a fairly large controversy around his release, but also his release date itself. The core of this was that he got leaked in his entirety, leading to a range of frustrations throughout the community. When the PTB finally did roll around, it was made worse by the fact that his reveal mechanic specifically was incredibly sensitive and made him almost unplayable, with the joke being at the time that you could spin in a circle and reveal him without even trying. So I think the general handling of this chapter was probably the most controversial thing he's been through.
So his controversy was that he got fucked over. Damn, bro. Killer players, man. We need better. Nah, that is kind of tragic, though. I mean, I think, again, it's a controversy that doesn't really exist for the first half. Him being leaked. I mean, people look at leaks all the fucking time. Come on now. It happens. It's unfortunate when it happens. But, like, in the same way, it's also kind of cool. Well, I mean, it's not cool, but, like, when I would see a Smite god get leaked, I would get kind of excited. I'd be like, oh my god, wait, this kind of character's coming to the game? Oh, or if it's someone I didn't know, I'd look up and be like, oh, dude, that sounds fucking cool, dude. And I would be, like, really excited for it. Like leaks do suck, and I'm not saying to go out of your way to do a leak. But generally, it's like, if a leak happens, it's like, well, shit. But hey, we got Ghostface to look forward to. That's fucking cool. We're getting Ghostface, dude. That's sick. People talk about leaks all the time and generally like them. You have those, some of those are like, man, that's so lame that it got spoiled, that it ruined it for the devs. And it's like, okay, yeah, I can understand that point. But at the same time, we got a cool character to look forward to, man. I'm excited for it, you know. Generally, the second part, though, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that it basically was like, we're the opposite of like Plague, not Plague Doctor, but Plague. She has a mechanic that made the game like super fucking annoying for survivors. You have Ghostface's ability that basically Survivor said, go fuck yourself to Ghostface. We're still going. We're watching a video. I'm doing a little reaction. I would imagine getting a character leaked and knowing he's going to be shit. But you don't know. They didn't know he was going to be shit. It was kind of like when he came into... If I'm understanding this correctly... Well, let me listen to this all again, just to make sure I got a good understanding to it.
Large controversy around his release, but also his release date itself. The core of this was that he got leaked in his entirety, leading to a range of frustrations throughout the community. When the PTB finally did roll around, it was made worse by the fact that his reveal mechanic specifically was incredibly sensitive and made him almost unplayable.
So yeah, they only found that out when the PvP, the public test server thing, when that came out and you played it, you found out his ability was shit because of how easily you could break it. So it's kind of like that part sucks. Public test branch build. Yeah. But that's when they're saying like his entirety got leaked, but you don't know how strong an ability is until you use it. So when the game says, right, the game, I'm not going to quote this exactly correctly for his ability, but when the game says Ghostface will stalk you around a corner and he will gain a movement speed as you become his obsession and can instantly down you. I'm not saying that's how it works. I'm using this as a made example, right? You read that and you're like, oh, damn, that sounds strong. And it says, if you can catch him, though, while he's stalking you, you can break it. And it's like, oh, okay, so there's a counterplay, right? Then when you play the game and you find out, wow, all I have to do is spin around in a circle and it will catch him if he is stalking me. Because by the mere second you see him, it breaks. Then it's like, oh, that's not that strong, right? And you find that out through testing it. Unless it specifically states you look at him for a second and it will break. And then you would know. But until you play it, you don't know how strong an ability generally would be.
With the joke being at the time that you could spin in a circle and reveal him without even trying. So I think the general handling of this chapter was probably the most controversial thing he's been through. Demogorgon, it's genuinely quite hard to think of a significant controversy for. I suppose its removal from the game, which was quite controversial, largely because it was the first significant license being removed from the game, and was the first time the community saw that this was possible at all.
Yeah, that's a fair controversy. That's some bullshit. When you find out, because it creates FOMO. Like, that's just such a fucked scenario, but that's the problem with having a licensing thing. But my question is, why was it removed? Will he explain?
This aside, I would have to go with the lifeguard whistle build popularized in 2024 that led to the ability to almost guarantee 5 stacks of Devour. That was pretty overpowered too, and everyone hated that. This build eventually leading to the lifeguard whistle rework. Rest in peace. Oni has...
Okay, so he didn't explain. Yeah, that's a very fair and annoying controversy. But that's not just for him. It's like, that's the start of it with Stranger Things. But then it goes into even farther. If you've bought it already, you still had it and could use it. It's not like they locked you out of it. It's not like you paid money and then they took the money away from you. They just took the option away for it to be bought again, which is still shit. That's still not good. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying that it's not that exact same as being like you paid for it and then it was taken from you. It's just taken away from other players being able to purchase it or get it. And it's annoying, especially for this game where it has perks. And if, you know, Demogorgon had really good perks and it's like, well, now they're locked out from you. That's really fucking annoying. But what was I'm curious what the reason was to why Demogorgon or the Stranger Things pack in general got taken out. I'm assuming it's a licensing thing by some means, but I don't understand what how far does it go? Was it like, did they pull it? Did they only buy it for a certain time? And if they do, they should be upfront with it. You can purchase this up till this time, and then if they rebuy it, so people could like renew the license, so people can buy more again, they will tell you. They should be more. If that is the case, it should be in general, not just for them, but in other games. It should be upfront to how long you have to where you can purchase a thing. Yes, it's still FOMO because it's limited, but it's not as strong a FOMO if you know when the date ends. And this is why I appreciate Steam. Generally in a Steam sale, it tells you when Steam sales end. The Steam sale that's going on right now tells you it ends January 5th. Very appreciated. I love when you people do that shit. They probably just didn't want to renew the license. It happens all the time. Yeah, it could be that. I think, though, they should still say, like, if it's a licensing thing, this will be available till this time. And people will, for the general population, the general most part of it, people will understand, right? You don't have to say, oh, because we don't want to renew the license. You just say, Stranger Things will be available up until this date here. And if you're smart and you think about it, you're going to realize that's probably the license date renewal. And then coming around that time, if they decide we're going to renew the license, they tell people the date to purchase this has been moved up. You have now till this time that you can purchase the Stranger Things bundle, right? Generally, in a general part, I believe people can be completely understanding when you're upfront with them. This kind of thing happens with games too, like the Transformers Fall of Cybertron and War of Cybertron and the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World game. Yeah, unfortunately, those two Transformers games are kind of abandonware, unfortunately, now. Which is so strange. I don't know why. Like, you're letting money just sit there. If you're like, yeah, allow these games to be purchased on the store, you make more money. If you're like, yeah, because I have part of this license, I can get some of that money. Why the fuck wouldn't you? You're not doing anything else with Transformers like that. Not like we're coming out with a bunch of new Transformers games. I don't know. Kind of whack. Those games would be awesome if they brought those back. I remember, I think it was one of those two, Fall or Cybertron or War of Cybertron, that I fucking, man, I played that game. I played that game for like 2 days fucking straight. Or maybe it was just one night. Maybe I did an all-nighter like I did that one Tomb Raider game. Man, that game is so fucking good. I played the online to it too. Oh, it was so fucking fun. Oh, it was so fun.
Largely not
I loved
been
it. It was one of those games I really loved.
But he's not been completely free of them either.
Okay, hold up.
Largely not been too controversial, I'd say, but he's not been completely free of them either. The biggest one related to him was, I think, his release date probably, just after his PTB, where he was very strong. And so when he came to life, he received some fairly considerable nerfs to his flicks, where on the PTB you could almost do a complete 360, I believe, or at least a 180 flick. It's quite funny now, considering these were basically added back to the game again. This was fairly short-lived though, with him basically still being strong regardless of these changes. Where on the PTB you could almost do a complete 360, I believe, or it was very strong. And so when he came to life, he received some fairly considerable nerfs to his flicks, where on the PTB you could almost do a complete 360, I believe, or at least a 180 flick. It's quite funny now, considering these were basically added back to the game again. This was fairly short-lived though, with him basically still being strong regardless of these changes from PTB to live. He's been largely
So survivors bitched because they got styled on. Crazy. Anyways.
Problematic since as well. Many at the time were definitely upset about this though.
Does make a killer that's fun and balanced, then proceed to nerf him to dirt. If you want a worse version of an already existing killer that's been out since launch, go ahead. See? Survivor privilege. Survivor privilege. They got styled on because they got 360s. They bitched about it. And they caused that. Guess what? It's back now, though, supposedly. According to this guy. What he said. He said it's basically back. So, yeah.
Based on the Steam reviews, you can see this too. Deathslinger today is not particularly controversial in any way, but back upon his release this was far from the case, with him being highly controversial. I think partly due to the fact that he had a gun. I think that alone raised alarm bells for some people, but it wasn't for this reason mainly. It was largely due to his almost instant ADS speed, or the ability to aim down sights near instantly. This was pretty hotly debated of whether it needed to be nerfed or not, but the main controversy came soon after his release in patch 5.3.0, with the nerf to his ADS speed, but also a bunch of other things. The nerf at the time was viewed as killing the character almost, due to the new ADS speeds feeling very punishing, along with an increase to his terror radius and a sweep of nerfs to his add-ons.
So he was in that similar kind of state as like what I believe Nurse is in and what Hag was in.
At the time it felt very punishing despite the nerfs being actually quite reasonable. Many Deathslinger mains quit, and many called for the nerfs to be reverted actually, despite how ridiculously overpowered pre-nerf Slinger seems to us now. There was actually a real clash within the community though of people who thought it was fair and people who thought it was actually very unfair and unjustified. Pyramid?
I can say, what I will say is, I think him having a gun would definitely be a controversy because now you have a killer with range, and to my understanding he's kind of the first general killer with range where he doesn't have to try to get close to you, he just has to aim and hit you, but you have to aim and hit your fucking shot. Yes, he has the, you know, a fast ADS. Dodge better. There you go. How you like that one? Survivor privilege. I mean, look at that. They nerfed it and it made people stop playing the character. What does that tell you? Survivor privilege. It's most likely they don't think they won't get more money than they would by paying for the license. I guess you're right about that. That does bring up a good point. They're like, we probably won't get the same amount of money. And I can't even say if they would or wouldn't, but it would still be cool. You know, I'm just saying. That's what makes these things kind of tricky. licensings and stuff. I generally don't think it would be that much money though to get the license to be able to re-put those games out for people to play. This is why we need to hold on to our physical media. They can't take away your physical media. They can't prevent you from playing your physical media.
Head is a largely non-controversial character. He had a positive launch and reception, aside there being a bit of a hot debate I suppose around cages, with people being slightly annoyed that he had almost an anti-tunnel feature, if that makes sense. His cages could let him tunnel basically,
Survivor
which many
bitching.
were not too happy about. However, the one big controversy, of course, was the ass-gate of 2020, when
What?
it was rumoured that Pyramid Head's rear had been nerfed, only for the devs to deny this. This was a huge deal at the time, covered by many media outlets, and even to
Hold
deny
up.
this, but that
Hold
Pyramid
up.
Head's
Let me see this.
rear
Okay. Hold up. Can I take that off just real fast? Okay, yeah. This image here to this image here, that's flat as fuck. That's cake. I can't tell from here, though. This is pretty hard to kind of see. But if we look at this, like, look at that. That bitch got a arch on that shit. This shit is like, oh god, it's a straight fucking line. Could possibly manage to get any worse, but then they nerfed Pyramid. Dude, why is this like every fucking year? Tell me that. This sentence here, I was thinking this year could not possibly manage to get any worse. That is a common ass line in every fucking year. I swear to God, I will never not see someone, and I'm not just talking about some random motherfuckers. I'm talking about a general, strong, cohesive, consistent saying of that kind of phrasing every fucking year. You could replace this with 2019, 2018, 2017, 2021, 2022, 2016, 2025. You could replace this with any fucking year and this sentence will still fucking fit. Because this shit gets said so fucking much. That was a complete side tangent, but I just wanted to point that out. But yeah, no, that was a nerf. That's a nerf right there. Look at that.
Nerfed, only for the devs to deny this.
Oh, on Polygon? On Polygon. Polygon's here to tell you that they did not nerf Pyramid Head's ass. Yeah, I'll trust Polygon as far as I can throw fucking 20,000 fucking tons. Yeah, I'll tell you how far I'll fucking trust Polygon. Not.
This was a huge deal at the time, covered by many media outlets, and even getting an official response from the devs, saying they never actually did nerf it. Even if you bring this up today, it's going to be a bit of a...
Look at that, my boy Pyramid Head dodging the controversies like that, outside of them nerfing his ass.
Did they really nerf that rear or not? Will we ever know the real truth?
I might have to hop back on DVD and find out.
Years, which have definitely added to his overall persistent controversial state. The biggest controversy, though, I'd have to say, surrounded the add-on Alchemist's Ring. With this,
I'm just happy my boy Pyramid Head avoided all that shit. Survivor privilege and survivor bitching couldn't touch him.
All charges after landing
outside of the fair thing of saying his ass was nerfed, I agree. From those two screenshots we've seen. I mean, I'm just saying, those two screenshots, that's some damning evidence. That's some damning evidence right there.
That Pyramid Head's rear.
That right there. You see this? You see that baby right there? That curvilicious versus the fucking straight sidewalk here? I mean, that's a lot. I trust Kotaku even less. I can't even say the words I trust and Kotaku together like that, outside of reading it like I just did. In general, I would never even be able to put that in a phrase, because that's how far I could never even think of trusting Kotaku. Is even trying to put that as a sentence together is gross. But my boy Pyramid Head pretty much avoided that shit. Let's go.
Blights has some wild states over the years, which have definitely added to his overall persistent controversial state. The biggest controversy, though, I'd have to say, surrounded the add-on Alchemist's Ring, with this add-on sort of representing a bigger issue, I'd say. This was an overpowered add-on which replenished all charges after landing a dash hit. This add-on then getting nerfed, but barely, with it still remaining incredibly strong, as only its secondary effect was removed. This was the most notable, I think, but Blight's add-ons in general have been a point.
Survivor bitching. I'm hearing Survivor bitching once again. Oh no, killers have an item that is good for them. Oh dear God. We are gonna bitch about it. They nerfed it. Oh, not good enough. We want it to be fucking dog shit.
Point of contention over the years, with them frequently escaping nerfs, despite how wildly overpowered they've been. So I'd say Blight's add-ons, I think, is a good one. Just how powerful they've been, and how frequently they escape nerfs. When characters like Twinsay, who have mostly awful add-ons, were catching strays and nerfs here and there, someone like Blight was somehow
Okay, I could understand that. If a character is already dog shit, or considerably bad, and they're catching nerfs while a character who is strong isn't catching nerfs, that shit would piss me off too. That shit happened in fucking Smite. There was a when Erlong Shen came out in Smite, that motherfucker was the fucking menace. And it was like they nerfed other characters before they even thought of touching this dude. That motherfucker had Erlong Shen privilege. That motherfucker got when the first time he got a nerf, it was the babiest tap ever. That motherfucker got the lightest, just like pat on the wrist, like, bad Erlong Shen, don't think of doing that again. Then he just went right back and still was like, I'm gonna still be a menace, just not as crazy of a menace. And it was just like, dude, can you just fucking stop this character? He would run you down. He could build almost like what felt like anything. He could build burst, attack speed, like high defense, and he was a menace no matter what. He would fucking turtle you and knock you up and just like kill you in like 3 seconds if he built like attack speed. If he would fucking weasel into you and just fucking hug you till you fucking died, basically. It was crazy. That motherfucker was crazy. Oh my God. And then he had that fucking reset on his health. He would taunt you into him if you thought you were going to run away, pull you out of your escape if you're using it. Holy shit, dude. Erlong Shen was crazy. So I can understand that. I'm still going to say survivor privilege because I'm just going to keep saying it. But in general, from playing Smite, man, you would see characters that would be like, why is this character even getting a nerf? They're not even being played or picked like that. And Erlong Shen just walked away free, scot-free every fucking time. It was like he was paying them off. Also, hi Mari. I was talking about something, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep this going. I'll say hi after. You know, sorry, but hi, welcome in. I am still live because I'm doing a reaction video, which is taking forever because I'm yapping. But you got to, you know? I don't want to just sit here and watch video. I want to add in my commentary.
Consistently escaping them. Speaking of twins have gone through some real issues over the years and have been...
But yeah, we're watching and reacting to a video of every killer in Dead by Daylight's controversy throughout the history.
You know, controversial basically since their launch or release. It's largely just down to them existing too. They released in an incredibly buggy state, having a lot of issues, and during a particularly rough period of the game in late 2020. Since then, they've been left with bugs and long-term issues that have led to them being largely disliked or lacking in favor, with them getting some mild redemption in 2024 with their rework, which was more of a bug.
Yeah, I think that is completely fair.
Controversy was undoubtedly their PTB though, the worst PTB I'd say in DBD history, where the community looked on as we engaged with this brand new killer who was plagued with bugs and huge design oversights and flaws to their power. For example, the devs simply didn't consider what would happen if a survivor jumped into a locker against Victor. There was no counter to that. If you went into a locker, Victor could do nothing. This was an interaction they had to come up with an idea for the live release of the patch. Trickster...
Simple. Victor prevents you from getting into a locker. The fuck are we talking about? Victor goes into... If you try to go into a locker with Victor, Victor prevents you from going into a locker until you get Victor off of you. and then you make a thing that you can get Victor off of you. I believe there's already a way to get Victor off you, but I can't fully say. I can't fully say on that, but however, that's what I feel is the way you do that. Victor prevents you from going into a locker. Or at least he'll fight you. And then you have to do a small mini game. And if you can win the mini game, you'll knock Victor off of you going into the locker. But if you don't win the mini game, he prevents you from going in the locker. Something like that, I think. But then again, with it being a very buggy release, really not that engaging, not really all that liking, like that, it can be generally like very like I don't even care to play this killer because there's just too much wrong with it. There's too much not going on with it. I don't like it. You didn't know I was a DVD player? I'm not really a DVD player like that. I've been a DVD enjoyer. I would watch a lot of like videos of DVD, and I've generally liked the game. I've just always had what I call killer anxiety, as in the one thing I want to do in DVD is play the killer, but I would always be incredibly high tense anxiety, high adrenaline, high whenever I'm playing because I'd be so fucking nervous. So it's like the one thing I want to do in the game makes me incredibly nervous to fucking play. So I didn't play too often, but I wanted to. So I did have the game for the longest. And now I'm just like, I just need to get over this. So the way I'm thinking of getting over this is by putting myself into the scenario that makes me uncomfortable, essentially. Putting myself into an uncomfortable state to get comfortable with it is what I'm doing. A DVD nerd. I wouldn't really say DVD nerd. I know of some things. I don't know of a lot of things. Again, I watch a lot of videos, but I don't have game knowledge of playing. Does that make sense? Like I would watch a lot of videos and people playing when new killers and stuff came out. So edgy, like a be on brand. Fair. That's kind of true. The thing is, in games like this, you don't really ever get to be the killer. In most of these games where you're, trying to survive a monster, someone coming after you, you're always the survivor. You're always the one on the run. You're always the one being chased. You're always the one needing to hide and survive. You're always the one. So in this game, you don't have to be that. You can now be the killer. You can be on the opposite end. It's like, that's what I want to do. That's the thing I want to do in this game. Because it's one of the few games that lets me do that. Because if I want to do the other one, there's 20 billion other games out there that I can play that'll be less frustrating. And generally, I find more enjoyment being the killer than I do being a survivor. It's fun that when you play with friends, when you do survive with friends, it is fun because you can talk with your friends, right? Generally, playing games with friends, I think, is fun. And I could play almost any game with friends. Almost any game, because I don't think I could do League. But generally, almost any game, I can play with friends and have a good time. That's kind of just how it is. Like Outlast Trials. Yeah, Outlast Trials, I play with friends and I enjoy it. I wouldn't enjoy the game if I played on my own. I don't play any of the Outlast games on my own like that. I'd play Outlast Trials, though, because it's so fun to play with, like, the people who I play with. Like Attic, King, and Zandy. It's always fun playing with them. And it's a game I can always go back and just have a good time playing with them because it's fun as fuck to play with them. But that's another game that isn't as frustrating as a DVD could be or can be. Actually, I think Outlast Trials, if I was playing that on my own, would be less frustrating than DVD, maybe. No, more frustrating. I think DVD could be less frustrating than Outlast Trials, potentially. No, I think that also might be reversed. I don't know. I think it could go either way. It could go either way. We'll just say that. We'll just say that.
Was an interaction they had to come up with an idea for the live release of the patch. Trickster, it just has to be how often he's been considered the least fitting of the DBD killers for the setting and tone of the game. People from day one have been saying this guy doesn't fit and he's a tonal outlier compared to the rest of the killers. It's crazy too because he's a character who's one of the most fitting actually for the game, debatably, being one of the most relevant to the modern day and modern horrors. It's just because he's bright and many equate that to instantly meaning he's ill-fitting for the game.
not so much the fact he's bright. I'm going to disagree with that. I think a lot of it comes from the fact of what kind of person he is. You have, if we take out the iconic killers, the icon killers, such as like Pig and Michael Myers and like Ghostface, those are icons. Those are iconic serial killers. We know of them by name, so they have that kind of background to defend them of being kind of a normal person, right? And they each have their own kind of story. With Trickster being his own character, his own creation, him just being like a psychopath. He's just a killer, a torturer. But not having the background, with him having the bright colors, with him being a pop star, makes him stand out from the cast of like undead, like this undead looking cowboy dude with a gun, this weird guy with a mask who sets traps, and he's wearing overalls and his body looks all disheveled and broken. This old like hag witch lady, you know, this really tall lanky guy who can make himself turn invisible, right? Like this nurse who's floating and is almost like a spirit, right? Like we have a lot of just like these entity like monster-ish, like ghoul-ish looking type characters that they've created and have put in the game. And then there's him, and he's a dude who throws knives, and he kills people to help make music. And visually looking at it, he kind of stands out from the crowd. Now, generally, I like Trickster. I like him as a killer, and I don't want him removed from the game, and I'm not going to say he shouldn't be in the game because of it. But I will say he does not fit. Visually and aesthetically and lore-wise, he doesn't necessarily exactly fit. However, I like him being in the game. And I kind of like that strangeness, because that strangeness makes him almost stand out in a weird way. It makes him stand out in a way that could be good or could be bad. And I kind of like it, but not going to lie and say it fits.
Along with being a K-pop idol. Regardless of my opinion though, he was undeniably controversial since his launch, not only for his design but also down to his power, which has been through a number of changes over the years too. Nemesis's greatest controversy came as a result of his awful add-ons, and in general add-ons being very bad at the time and very poorly designed. It mainly surrounded the add-on Liquor Tongue, an add-on that provided a measly 0.15 second increase to the duration of Hindered after contamination. This was one of many add-ons in a trend of just awful, useless effects that was highlighted by OTS as well, which added to the add-on's notoriety. Really, truly terrible, and maybe one of the worst in DBD history. Pinhead's greatest...
Yeah, but if he doesn't himself have great add-ons, like Kaneki doesn't have great add-ons, but you have other add-ons that can make the character fun or good and enjoyable, and you could still play the character, and you still will enjoy the character for his ability or his perk and passive and whatever he brings. Because like Nemesis has his whip ability that he uses, and you're like, I like that kind of attack. I like Nemesis as a character because I like Resident Evil, and I like the little zombies he brings. I think that's kind of fun and kind of cool with his infection status. You know, yeah, I want to play Nemesis, but his perks aren't great, so I just won't focus on leveling him up. And that's where that weird thing comes in again. Like what I talked about before with like Kaneki and the clown right now for me. I play Kaneki, but if you look at my level ups, you'd be like, wow, you might think, maybe people don't view it that way, but you might think this guy plays a lot of clown because he's the one he's prestiging a lot, but it's like, no, I'm doing it because I want his passives, I want his perks. His perks will be good for Kaneki. So it's like, that's what I want, right? So it's like a weird thing like that. But again, if you enjoy the character, it shouldn't be a problem. He came, I came. Or I'm Pinhead now, that's right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's that big of an issue, me personally, but you know, it is. If that's that's his controversy, I mean that's his controversy. Kind of just shows, hey, you know what? Killer's not the problem. I mean, his perks weren't great though. That is unfortunate though, because it can be annoying. Because you're like, man, I'm literally looking for this character, and it's like, man, his perk sucks. It's like, oh, okay, well that does that's kind of trash. But the character's still fun, and I could maybe make other perks work for him. You just don't get as many new things. You get a new thing, but you don't get as many new things.
Release of the killer from PTB to live,
or something to help maybe change up the game, because it's like it still feels like the same game. I got a different ability and a different passive thing going on. It brings something new, but still generally I'm like, I feel like I might be still playing the same game because I'm not really getting a new perk or a new play style in a way. There's kind of a new play style, but it's not like a brand new play style like that, like what a new perk could probably like bring in. Then you also get the issue of, is the perk even going to be good? Which clearly it wasn't. So, just as perks in general. They tried to do something and it didn't really fit. So it's like I'm still playing the same perks just with the different abilities. And that could also be like just kind of like, it's kind of new, but not super new. Let's see. The removed I came. Okay.
where in the PTB Pinhead had voice lines, where live they were completely removed. This led to a community-wide state of mourning over I Came. This paired with the NFT concerns at the time too resulted in a huge controversial double whammy. The voice lines were eventually reintroduced though, and this time from the original voice actor, so everyone won in the end. Artist is another barely original voice PTB to live, where in the PTB Pinhead had voice lines, where live they were completely removed. This
I went back too far, but that's fine.
State of mourning over I Came. This paired with the NFT concerns at the time too resulted in a huge controversial double whammy. The voice lines were eventually reintroduced though, and this time from the original voice actor.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that would suck. It's like, dude, you took away his voice line of I Came. Come on, it's iconic. It's iconic and it's a funny little meme. Come on. But they, it's all sorted out, so all good. So no controversies on Pinhead.
So everyone won in the end. Artist is another barely controversial character who is largely forgotten more than anything. I'd say her biggest controversy was probably her PTB state, where she was even stronger than her current version, as she came with an overpowered anti-loop ability. On the PTB, crows could be used to damage if a survivor ran into them while swarmed. This made literally every loop dangerous if you placed a crow down, and the requirement to simply run away. This was a particularly hot PTB topic at the time due to the abundance and strength of anti-loop powers, and the term anti-loop itself being a popular phrase.
Good. Fuck them. Okay, on a general note, I can understand that being frustrating, where it's like the one thing I have to, escape a killer, these loops, now it's completely being blocked, so it's like, it really makes it does like, what choices do you really have? So I can understand that. I won't say full survivor privilege. I won't say full survivor bitching, because I can understand that when I think about it. It's like, yeah, that would be pretty shit. Taking away the looping thing. However, giving an additional to making loops not as simple or easy, I don't find an issue with. However, if that just fully stops it like that, it's like, well, damn, that kind of just fucking sucks. And if you do that, then that's where you need to have other plays that a survivor can do. But at the same time, survivors got all these fucking stun bombs and smoke bombs and slow bombs and flashlights and everything like that, so survivor privilege.
Sadako has had a number of controversial states, largely due to her condemned mechanic, but her most controversial was in July 2023, when she was able to simply repeatedly teleport and make the entire team condemned fairly quickly, due to a lose-lose mechanic.
What does condemned do?
To hold the tape to stop gaining condemned, but then also if you got hit whilst holding one, your condemned went up very quickly too. It created a frustrating lose-lose situation, especially when she ran the OP iridescent videotape, which force you to go toward a single TV. Dredge is a character people love pretty.
Let me. Okay, so let me just see here.
When she was able to simply repeatedly teleport and make the entire team condemned fairly quickly, due to a lose-lose mechanic.
So essentially, she could teleport. She could teleport on zero. She could teleport on zero cooldown, give you a status effect. Like, give the entire team a status effect by being able to teleport, zero cooldown on it whatsoever, for free.
She forced you to hold the tape to stop gaining condemned, but then also if you got hit whilst holding one, your condemned went up very quickly too. It created a frustrating lose-lose situation.
Yeah, okay, you know what? Fair. You got that one? That shouldn't be allowed. That's pretty fair. I'm not exactly sure what condemn does, but for now I can say that is fair because that is a lose-lose situation. You do not get any type of counterplay to that whatsoever. Not like with Spirit where it was like, well, I have to gamble if I can win. It feels like a lose-lose, but it's not necessarily. This actually is a general lose-lose. Very fair point. Very
Especially
fair.
when she ran the OP iridescent video.
I can't. There is no there's no survivor privilege. There's no survivor bitching.
People love pretty unconditionally because they cite it as the return of horror to DBD. It's viewed very favorably, therefore, and in quite a fond way. Dredge also gets banger outfits and has always been pretty mid-tier, making it.
Yeah, he's a very
point of
Dredge is a very cool and well-designed killer. Not really one I really feel like I want to play. But generally, he has an amazing fucking design. It's very awesome. Yeah, not FF. Friday the 13th is dead, but yeah, I think there's private servers. You can play private servers. Also, High King.
Also gets banger outfits and has always been pretty mid-tier, making it far from the point of conversation. I'd say its most controversial aspect is power, a core point of tension being its reliance on lockers, an odd choice due to the strange locker spawns, and the fact that lockers were clearly never meant to be used as part of a teleport power. So I guess that's the main controversial thing.
Bro ain't got no controversies. Bro's just mad chilling. What is this? You could just say he doesn't have any controversies. Bro's just mad chilling. Leave Dredge alone. He's just chilling. Although to be fair, that could the locker thing could go either way, either for or against survivors, for or against the killer. But generally, it's a really cool mechanic. Bro's just mad chilling. That's it. Dredge just mad chilling.
Universally loved nowadays, with him offering a fun power that most enjoy to play and face, and for his silly voice lines and general persona. Wesker's always been viewed pretty favorably.
Wesker's just too cool to hate. Right? Like, you can be like, man, this is so fucking annoying if you just get repeatedly pinned against a wall like that. But at the same time, you're like, I'm getting pinned by the wall by Wesker, who looks cool, sounds cool, is cool. Like, bro is just cool as fuck, that you can't even be mad when he gets you.
His greatest controversy being that he was too popular back upon his
He's
release,
too cool. That's just it. Wesker's just fucking cool.
For almost 2 whole months, he was easily the most played killer and felt like he appeared in almost every single trial.
I feel like that's the case for like a lot of killers when they first come out, but like it generally it's the how does it stand afterwards? And again, this is Wesker. People fucking love Wesker. He looks cool, sounds cool, acts cool, is cool. He's a villain you fucking love. He fucking pins you to a wall. He just charges at you, slams you, and fucking takes you. It's cool as fuck. You can't even be mad at it, whether you're playing against it or with it, dude.
Well, I would say this was it. He was too
Wesker just gets, yeah, he's just too pop. This is controversy. His biggest controversy. He's too fucking cool. That's just it. Jealous bitches. Everyone's a jealous bitch. That's it. That's not even a survivor. That's just killer. It's everybody. Well, I can say mostly. I'm going to say actually mostly it is survivor, because survivors are the ones having to play against it. They're like, I want to see another killer. Nah, sorry. You got to deal with Wesker. He's too fucking cool, baby. Killers aren't the one bitching about him, because killers are the ones choosing to play as him. So I'm just saying. I take it back. Survivor bitching. He's too fucking cool. Deal with it. Wesker's too kinky. I don't know how to read that. Kabedons, and then continues to choke you. I know what you're saying, like pins you against a wall.
Viewed quite negatively from
I just don't know how to read that.
Largely down to his power being reliant on the AI guards,
Kabedon.
buggy states, and were just viewed onto his power.
Okay, hold up.
Knight was viewed quite negatively from launch, and it was largely down to his power being reliant on the AI guards, which had multiple buggy states and were just viewed as a non-power almost, as they took agency away from the player. Knight was also embroiled with the greatly hated 3-gen or gen kick metas, with him being partially blamed along with Skull Merchant for their persistence, as his power was viewed as strong for 3-genning, when, to be honest, this wasn't really the case.
Right there, he even said it. This wasn't the case. Survivor, privilege, survivor, bitching. Kabedon. Kabe's okay. Not B, but it's like Bay. Kabedon? Kabedon.
Skull Merchant. Well,
Kabe-dun.
where do we start?
I got
Skull
it. I got it. Kabe-dun.
Merchant's existence as a whole has been her biggest controversy. Even before her launch, she was set up to fail due to the entirety of the surrounding meta of the time after the huge shakeup in 6.1.0. Merchant was released into the center of the 3-gen or gen kick meta, with a power that was perfect for holding a 3-gen and dragging out games as long as possible, being dubbed the Chess Merchant in a joking way. She was further hated on launch due to her visual design, which was way out of line with the theorized cyborg killer many believed the trailers to be hinting at. She was then further mocked for her awful Mori, which was reworked, as well as her lore, which focused on dark Brazilian manga. This hate has spanned far longer than just her launch though, across her subsequent rework.
Some of those are just like kind of nothing burgers to me. I can say for the design, for like, but again, like if it's like, well, we're thinking a cyborg killer, she's kind of cyborg-ish, but not necessarily. She's really not cyborg-ish. Never mind, I take it back. She's not really cyborg. She's just kind of got some tech to her. I still think she was supposed to be the Predator, because I think there was like a licensing thing going on with the Predator, and I think they were supposed to have him as a killer, and something went wrong, so they had to redesign her. And they redesign this killer, but they wanted to use the same mechanics. So they're like, we're not going to change the mechanics. We have the mechanics made. We have to make a new character that goes around it. And that's her Skull Merchant came in. So generally her existence is a fair-ish controversy, but it's one that's kind of like, for a lot of the stuff, it's kind of a nothing burger. I can understand if you're like, the lore is kind of boring and I don't really care for it and stuff like that. That's fair.
Works. And even to the current day, where people still frequently DC against her simply because it's her, despite her barely resembling the killer she used to be. It's honestly pretty crazy. Singular.
They're misogynist. They hate women. That's it. There you go. Survivors are misogynists. They have survivor privilege. They survivor bitch. They're misogynists. There you go. I solved it. I fixed it all.
Singularity had a very controversial release, but also PTB. It's one I remember too because I think it may have been the weakest new killer I've ever played on a PTB. PTB Hux was dreadful. This was largely down to the EMPs. They were fast spawning, plentiful, and completely deleted Hux power almost entirely, making him insanely weak, with him still remaining somewhat like this even into his launch patch. Xenomorph's biggest—
Damn. So his whole controversy was that he kind of sucked. That's unfortunate. Killers were getting we got shafted that one, man. Killers ain't gonna take me in. Who the fuck am I? Why am I saying killers? We got shafted. They ain't gonna take me in. I'm gonna be rejected. They're just gonna reject me. I know it. They won't take me in. They won't do it. I know they won't. They won't accept me. It's okay. I bitch too much. Well, not bitch. I point out the truth too much. That's what it is. I know. It's okay. It's okay. I get it. Okay, anyways. Did I take my tear? There we go. No crying. We ain't bitching here. But in general, that does just kind of suck. It's like, oh man, new killer, and it sucks. It makes you not want to play the killer. Well, just a character in general. If the character's really weak, MOBAs have this issue too. Smite had this a couple times. When the character's like weak, it generally makes you like, I don't know if I really want to play them because they just like are struggling.
Controversy was with the suggested reworks in its 2025 PTB.
Huh?
This PTB was largely controversial due to it basically killing Xeno entirely, making a huge part of its kit useless. There was a huge nerf to its main attack ability, its tail, delaying it by a lot, but there was also a buff to flame turrets, enabling survivors to easily and repeatedly—
When I have said the devs love survivors, I fucking mean it. Yeah, Attic, I don't know where you get that, where you got those two from, but you I guess you go off King. I don't know. Kind of strange. Kind of strange, Attic. Creepy smile. Because I definitely don't have a constipated face or a pissing face. I don't even know what a pissing face would be. I guess a pissing face is like a satisfied face after you've held your piss in for like 3 hours and you're like, oh, finally. My throat's dying again. Holy crap, I must be yapping a lot. But outside of that, and what is a constipated face, like a face in pain? Maybe that's what it'd be. Oh, the chair didn't work. I'm sorry, Mari. Hold up. I'll never have them. I will never have them by choice. If they are ever made, it was not by my choice. It was not by my standing. It was by someone else's. Let me give you back your points real quick. Okay, there you go. I refunded you back your points. What if your model artist adds some secret feature you don't know? Then I won't know. And then nobody else will know either. So it'll be a secret feature that nobody ever knows.
Burnsian was controversial reworks in its 2025 PTB. This PTB was largely controversial due to it basically killing Xeno entirely.
What I can say is,
part of its kit useless.
I love that it basically... Hold on, I'm gonna let this finish.
There was a huge nerf to its main attack ability, its tail, delaying it by a lot, but there was also a buff to flame turrets, enabling survivors to easily and repeatedly burn Xeno out of its power. It got a huge community uproar, and was almost entirely reverted.
Hell yeah. Community coming together to stop this survivor privilege bullshit.
Chucky was very controversial around his release and largely down to his overpowered state. On his launch he was very overpowered, with his dash being incredibly fast and his scamper providing him a wild amount of pressure. The subsequent nerf of these abilities also just fanned the flames due to many viewing them as unjustified. Unknown's biggest
survivor privilege. He has some that's pretty strong. Might not have been that strong. I don't know. I can't fully say if it was or wasn't. Could just be survivor bitching. Generally pretty strong. And when they nerfed it, people said it was unjust.
His overpowered state. On his launch he was very overpowered, with his dash being incredibly fast and his scamper providing him a wild amount of pressure. The subsequent nerf of these abilities also just fanned the flames due to many viewing them as unjustified.
Hold up. I want to hear that last bit again.
Incredibly fast, and his scamper providing him a wild amount of pressure. The subsequent nerf of these abilities also just fanned the flames due to many viewing them as unjustified.
Yeah, okay, so subsequent nerfs they applied to him, people were like, that doesn't seem fair. Because maybe the ability isn't as overpowered as these survivors who are going to bitch about anything are. I'm a survivor. I'm being a survivor hater.
Unknown's biggest controversy was down to its presentation in its
survivor privilege, survivor bitching.
Trailers compared to its presentation in-game. Controversy was down to its presentation in its trailers compared to its presentation in-game. One key feature present in the trailers for Unknown was its ability to cruel. This was presumed to be a mechanic for it and its power, but if Unknown's trailers... This is
one of my boys here. This is one of my boys right here. The Unknown. Could be because he looks just like me in real life. We'll see.
Biggest controversy was down to its presentation in its trailers compared to its presentation in-game. One key feature present in the trailers for Unknown was its...
Why can't... My brain cannot fucking comprehend this. Hold up. Give me a minute. I'm sorry. I need to listen to this because I don't...
Unknown's biggest controversy was down to its presentation in its trailers compared to its presentation in-game.
What? Community? Are you kidding me? Yo, Community. This was one of the coolest fucking things. Hold up, let me hear it all.
One
Let me hear it all.
feature present in the trailers for Unknown was its ability to crawl. This was presumed to be a mechanic for it and its power, but upon its PTB reveal, there was no crawl ability in sight. This led to quite a bit of upset with some due to feeling somewhat misled or simply feeling like Unknown should have a crawl ability in some way. Vecna...
Okay. Maybe I could understand. However, he does that for his little intro thing. It's not really a mechanic in his thing, but that's like okay, you set yourself up to be let down. If you come up with an assumption and you say, I assume and I think that this is going to be what it does, and it doesn't, and you take that as like well, that does suck, that's fine, but you don't take it that way. Instead, you take it as, wow, I got misled, this is BS. It's like, maybe it wasn't intended for that. Maybe it's just to be part of his marketing thing for him being a disturbing and creepy character. Which, by the way, Unknown's marketing to me was fucking peak, dude. That shit was creepy. It's so good. I love Unknown. The whole marketing for him, his whole like lore shtick, all of it playing together and working together is so good. He is generally fucking freaky, fucking creepy. Love Unknown. Everything about him was great to me. Love that character. Love that killer. Really good. But generally, I thought it was going to be people saying he was overpowered. He was pretty strong. I played a little bit. I played on his release for a bit. I played with some friends. I played a couple games. He was generally pretty strong. So I thought that's what it was going to be, but it wasn't that. He basically got overhyped. Yeah, I mean, if you set yourself up to be overhyped about something, it's kind of a little bit on you, just saying. But generally, Unknown, I think his marketing was done fucking great. I thought his marketing was done really fucking cool.
I want to go with something a bit unique.
Has nothing to do with his controversy. I just want to say it because it was kind of in his controversy because they said in his marketing, which was part of this clip here. Like, watch this clip. Watch this clip. Look at this. They're like, we're releasing a new killer, and you see this. This shit is generally creepy. You're like, oh, watch this.
This was presumed to be a mechanic for it and its power, but upon its PTB reveal,
Scudder.
there was...
And it's like, oh, dude, that's freaky looking, dude. What could that be? Oh, it's so cool. What kind of killer is he, you know? And he was really cool.
This led to quite a bit of upset with some
generally a horrifying type of killer.
Somewhat misled or simply
I want an Unknown movie. I want a movie made with this killer, and I want it to be freaky as fuck.
feeling like Unknown should
disturbing, scary, I want it all.
Some way. Vecna, I want to go with something a bit unique due to him not really having many notable controversies. One lore-based one I remember though was surrounding the introduction of the Mark of the Entity, a mark placed onto Vecna by the Entity specifically due to his great power level, this mark being a sign of him being nerfed down. This in itself was somewhat contested by some as impossible due to Vecna's own power. However, the bigger issue there was...
Yeah, no, actually, hold up, I got issues with that. Hold up, I agree. One, just in a writing stance, if a character is so strong that a being that's trying to control them has to implement something to make them weaker, how the fuck is that, like, when it's done in like this kind of way where it's like he has a magical mark, you would technically be stronger then because you can make someone weaker. How is someone stronger than you? This just makes this weird power dynamic. Oh, technically Vecna is stronger based on his lore from D&D, but we can't have him be that powerful in DBD because we can't think of a way for it to make sense. So here's this weird mark that makes him weaker that the entity put on him to make him weaker, but it's coming from the entity who isn't stronger than him. So the entity can't really, you know, beat him or anything like that, but it's making him weaker. But he's weaker than Vecna. What? That gets confusing, man.
Was with people complaining that other notably strong killers, lore-wise, didn't have the mark as well, such as Sadako, Freddy, or Pyramid Head.
That's another good one for like Pyramid Head. Pyramid Head and Sadako, I think, is a real big strong contestant to that. Yeah.
Ultimately, though, this was a D&D specific thing, and I think sort of misses the point if you think those other characters need a mark.
I think adding that just, they put themselves into something they didn't need to. It's like answering a question you didn't need to answer. Like like answering the thing, putting in the thing for Harry Potter, they don't use bathrooms because they use magic to make their shit and piss disappear. Right? Like, that was something that was added that it's like, why did we add this? Wait, Hogwarts had bathrooms. So what the fuck were the bathrooms there for? But then, you know, they fucking put in that, like, some weird, like, what was it? Was it like a fucking Twitter post or something that it's like, oh, here's this thing where they will shit themselves but make it disappear. What? Why are we doing this? You're answering a question nobody needed or was wondering. You didn't need to put this mark of the entity in here. You could have just added the character. There would have been no issue.
Regardless, it was still a whole argument and debate at the time.
It is, because if people care about the lore, which a lot of people do, and I'm someone who loves lore in my games, that's kind of fucking frustrating, man. That is very frustrating. You're like, wait, what? Oh, because you start killing the lore. You start killing lore when you do shit like that. So I don't like, man, lame.
Dracula is fairly new and so has hardly been controversial so far. I'd debate one of the controversial elements of Dracula was actually to do with his castle. It's suspected his castle was actually the reason for the removal of the passive fog on the game's realms, due to it originally restricting the view of the castle. This has been a bit of a hot change and led to a lot of controversy, or just trying to figure out if that's even the case or that's why it happened.
This is a giant nothing burger.
Confirmed, but it's certainly become a hot topic regardless, due to it being suspected.
I don't think that's the case, because you could just have the castle being placed by the moon, so if you look at the moon you can still see the castle. I don't think that's the case, and that's a nothing burger.
Master was controversial on her launch, and largely down to the bugs she faced, with her having quite a few. It caused a big stir in the community.
That's fair controversy. These are fair controversy. Bugs are beyond fair controversies.
With people loving that you could pet the dog, her launch was largely tainted by the overwhelming number of bugs.
Okay, look, I find it the funny meme of being like, can I pet the dog or not? Right? Why the fuck in a game where you're going to be chased by the killer are you going to stop to pet the fucking dog? It doesn't make fucking sense. Hold on, let me make sure I heard him correctly. I don't want to just...
Down to the bugs she faced, with her having quite a few. It caused a big stir in the community and ultimately led to Houndmaster being quite disliked. Although there were a few upsides, with people loving that you could pet the dog, her launch was
I actually think that's fucking stupid. I'm sorry, maybe this is me being like a fun hater or whatever. But to me, it comes off as kind of fucking dumb. Because this lady, with her dog, is trying to kill me. Why am I going to pet the fucking dog? I don't give a shit when it's in other games. If it's a mechanic in a game, fine. As long as the game is done, made well, good, you know, enjoyable, good story, good combat, good gameplay, good mechanic, things like that, blah, 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 whatever. I don't care. It's good, and I always do try to look for it whenever you can see a dog or a cat. I'm like, can you pet it? I'm very curious if it does it, because it's a funny meme. It's a funny thing to do. And, of course, I'm going to do it. I love fucking animals. So, yes. Why the fuck is it... I'm a survivor. Trying to run from this fucking killer. Not be like, ha ha ha, hold up. I understand you're chasing me. I'm gonna pet your dog though real fast. Okay, now let's continue the chase again. It just... Call me a fun ruiner. I don't care. I'm just... It seems fucking dumb to me to have that as a thing. I thought people were bitching that you couldn't. But people were like, oh no, you can, so it's good. And I'm like, no, I think that's dumb. I think it's dumb for this game. If the Houndmaster herself can do it, I think that's fine. I think if the Houndmaster herself can pet her own dog, I think that's fine. But if you as the survivor can pet the dog, why? Why? It just doesn't make fucking sense. And it takes the urgency away. I mean, I understand it's an online game. The urgency will be depending on how you as a player do. And you can be silly as fuck with the killer, or be silly as fuck to your other players, or the killer can be silly as fuck with you. But it being a game mechanic, man, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. Speak your truth, King. They like ruining your killer fun. Fair, true, you're right. Survivor privilege. Although this is a community thing, not just a Survivor thing. Though I'm just saying the Survivor shouldn't be able to pet the dog just because it takes away urgency. It just does. It just, I don't know. Just makes it kind of like, meh. Rephrase that. Wait, did I say that? If I did, that's my bad. What I meant to say was, I fucking love animals, you know? Not the other way around. Not that I love fucking animals, that I fucking love animals. I am still awake. I shouldn't be, but I am. If I'm playing killer and a motherfucker comes up to pet me, I'm gonna want to tunnel them. I'm gonna want to tunnel them, and I'm gonna get tilted because I'm not gonna be able to kill them, and then everyone else is gonna escape. It's gonna be my own fault. No. That's why you said. I said. I fucking love animals. Because if that's what I said, that's what I meant to say. Because I do. I like animals a lot. Animals are great.
Largely tainted by the overwhelming number of bugs, which feels like it really marred her launch too. And
Yeah,
even her
bugs are fair. Bugs are very fair controversy. I just can't get into DBD. I never understood it. That's fine if you don't really or you're not a fan of it or can't get into it. But I am curious what do you mean by that? By you can't get into it and you never understood it. Like, what is it that you don't understand? You said the other thing? Oh, well, my bad. Then I just fucked up my words. What I meant to say is, I fucking love animals.
play rate. It's a real shame.
I didn't mean the other way. I didn't even realize I said it the other way. Not how I meant to say that. That's my bad.
Because she's a really fun killer, actually. Kaneki's biggest controversy is hard to pinpoint, but it's probably just his release as a whole. It was partly due to him being from an anime,
Yep, people are just fucking haters.
which was met with inherent controversy, and the whole argument of whether or not it fit into DBD. Beyond this, he was controversial due to his incredibly strong power, which provided some insane instances of free hits and map pressure, ultimately leading to a string of subsequent nerfs.
Honestly, and I swear to you, I would admit this. I said it with Trickster. And I like Trickster. I like Trickster a lot. Kaneki fits for Dead by Daylight. With the way they did that, you should also be able to pet a down survivor. That's toxic. That'd be funny, but that's toxic. And I believe that survivor would want to make sure that killer regrets ever doing that. I'd clip that, but it's too easy and weird. Fair. I appreciate you not doing that. But I genuinely think Kaneki fits well for DBD, especially with how they took it. They got the rights and the permission to do the lore differently to where it works. Everything plays out the same up to the Jason fight, where after he fights Jason, right as he's basically gone on this edge of being like, I'm going to become a ghoul, fully established, he'd go kind of crazy. He just, had his whole mental breakdown, kills him. He gets pulled into the Dead by Daylight, or not Dead by Daylight. No, wait. DBD, Dead by Daylight. It is Dead by Daylight. World, and has embraced his whole ghoulish side and has become the monster that he tried to avoid being. But it's because he didn't get the outside world perspective. He basically got pulled as his mental broke and became the killer for it. And I think that's so fucking cool. And it's done so well that it fits super well. And with Tokyo Ghoul being a horror-based anime, it fits so well. Plus, his model looks so fucking good. It looks like the live action. That's the thing. There's a live action Tokyo Ghoul movie, and this looks like it's like a live action Kaneki in the game. It doesn't look weird because they don't add some cell shading to make it look anime. They didn't go out of their way to make it look anime. It looks realistic, and it is done and made so well that it fits. Kaneki aesthetically looks and fits well into DBD, especially since he is a ghoul, which is basically a monster. He fits. People just don't like him because he's anime. They're just haters.
Controversy, I'd say, similar to Kaneki, was just surrounding whether or not he belonged in the game to begin with. This is another one of those arguments that I can't quite understand, honestly. Why it even
I agree. I
happened,
don't
but
understand
it was
that either.
definitely a hot topic around.
What I'm going to say? Survivor bitching. Survivor bitching. I'm just saying. Survivor bitching. Always comes back to survivor bitching. We have to deal with another killer. We have to learn another killer. I have to learn. I have to do something. I don't just get whatever I want. Unbelievable. He doesn't fit in the game he shouldn't be in.
Around the time, many believe FNAF doesn't fit and still do believe that, with its style being ill-fitting, childish, or cringy. Krasu's greatest...
It literally is a monster-ish killer. It fucking fits. It is not like Trickster. It is licensed. It's a licensing thing. So it's an iconic in its own way. What the hell? I was looking at my keyboard. Is one of my lights going weird? I think one of the lights on my keyboard's acting weird. It's a completely different color than all the other lights. That's strange. Either way, I got distracted. Springtrap fits. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not huge on games like that. I don't want to loop the killer for 15 minutes. Play the killer then. Play the killer. Join us. Join the killer side. Join the killer side. Miles should be able to whisper sweet backseatings to the Why do we like to make the worst things ever? They should add Saitama to DVD. Why would they add Saitama to DVD? That's like a meme pick. That's like saying add Goku. DVD. Doms, baddies, and daddies. Yeah, that's kind of right. Wanna know if fits these.
His controversy came as a result of her insanely overpowered state on launch. A state which rivaled that of characters previously in 2025, such as Kaneki. Krasu's greatest controversy, with its style being ill-fitting, childish, or cringy. Krasu's greatest controversy came as a result of her insanely overpowered state on launch. A state which rivaled that of characters previously in 2025, such as Kaneki. Her power was actually buffed up
What the
from
fuck?
PvP, but to a far too high degree, with her able to leech and then quickly catch up, hit, use her flight, and then hit again. Almost inescapable, I'd say. Yeah, alright, well, I do hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts as always, down below.
That's...
Thanks for watching.
I don't know.
Such as Kaneki. Her power was actually buffed up from the PTB, but to a far too high degree, with her able to leech and then quickly catch up, hit, use her flight, and then hit again. Almost inescapable, I'd say. Yeah, alright, well, I do hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts as always, down below.
I don't think that's too bad, but I can't say because I haven't experienced it. So I'll leave that one on like a... I don't really have much to say for her. Anyways, what I could say from this video is there are some things in here I think were pretty fair controversies. Some things that were a bunch of nothing burgers. And a bunch of other things that were survivor privilege and survivor bitching. Generally a really good video. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Please, once again, here I'll put this in the chat. Please go give it a like. Give the guy a sub if you enjoy his content and want to see more of it. But yeah, generally I think that was a good video. I think he did very well in this.